The Super Speedway Podcast is a Dream Bigger media production. For news, photos, show notes, and information about advertising on the podcast, visit www.thesuperspeedway.com.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Super Speedway.
That's what happens when I don't use brakes.
Show me, get some data to look at.
I don't care what the data says. I drive the car the best it can go, and I know how to do that. So don't question what I'm doing. Awesome race car. Thank you. All I do is win no matter what. Can you imagine if I could have gotten Vegas and yesterday? How many in a row? How many?
Welcome to episode 100 of the Super Speedway Podcast, recorded Wednesday, March 20th, 2019. I'm your host, Eric Young. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, James Cush. James, I couldn't pick just one clip for the intro. I had to go with both of those.
I love it. I love it.
I mean, anytime...
Although Kyle Busch is always awkward.
Yeah,
I feel like he's always awkward. Even if he's on his team radio, he's awkward.
But that's great, though. That's what's good about it.
Yeah, it was good.
You always kind of cringe when Kyle talks. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Well, I do that with a lot of drivers. So.
And then Stenhouse. Anytime Stenhouse gets fired up.
I love. Yeah. I'm all in on Stenhouse at this point right now.
Yeah. I want to talk more about Stenhouse.
His Q rating's never been higher for me.
Yeah. I want to talk more about him. Don't let me forget. We're going to talk about Stenhouse yet in this podcast. I want to talk about him.
Sounds good.
I know we've been high on Stenhouse a few times. I want to talk about him. So I got some opinions on him.
Good. I like it.
So to start things off, it is our 100th episode of the Super Speedway Podcast. Somehow we've managed to get through 100 episodes and
somehow, some way, man.
Into our third season now, right? Yeah, that's right.
This is our third season. Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard to believe. It's amazing how far it's come, and to relive how far it's come, James, I have a little surprise, which you kind of sort of guessed a little bit before we started recording. Here is the beginning of the very first episode of the Super Speedway Podcast. Be prepared. It's cringy. And it's
I'm already
awkward.
cringing.
So here we go. So welcome to the first episode of the Super Speedway Podcast. We'll start things out by introducing ourselves. I'm Eric Young. I'm one of the hosts, and I'm joined by my co-host.
Oh, boy.
Go ahead and introduce yourself, James.
Hi, I'm James Cush. How's it going, Eric? Good to finally be doing this, eh?
Yeah, we've only been talking about doing this for 2 years, so it's nice to get it up and going for once.
Yep. Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be fun just to kind of chat. Wow, we were really bad.
I know. Terrible. Yeah, definitely. So this is our first time doing a podcast, so anybody listening, if there are major technical issues, if the sound is bad, things like that, we'll work it all out as we go.
Well, we've never fixed that.
It's kind of a learning experience for us. So there we go. That's all I got for you.
Holy cow, we were really bad. Are we still that bad?
I hope not.
I feel like whenever I check in on every issue we do or every podcast that we do, and I don't think it sounds that bad. No. Holy cow.
No, that was pretty rough.
The fact that we made it to, forget making it to episode 100, we should have celebrated episode 2.
Right. I think we probably did. I didn't check that recording, but
holy cow.
Yeah, we've come a little bit since we started. The audio is better. Definitely. I've invested in better microphones and better sound dampening, and we've got better equipment. That one we were kind of doing not really live. We had to record and I had to edit some stuff. And now, I mean, we run this thing like a radio show. You guys are hearing what we record. The only time we ever go back and edit anything is if we have a Skype issue or something, or,
there's been a handful of Skype issues across over time,
or a skunk issue, or
there was a skunk issue.
Children.
Yes. Children have interrupted a couple of times.
Yes. But otherwise you hear live. This is live. We don't, I'm of the live radio genre. That's what I enjoyed, and I don't want to go back and edit and pretty it up. But you guys get unfiltered. Well, I mean, we filter ourselves a little bit, but not technically. We just try not to say stupid stuff. But that we usually fail at that.
Well, I'm amazed. I never use the word or phrase "a" in my life. Like, that's not something that's in my vocabulary very often. And the fact that I kicked off my first sentence with that is just...
I think if I remember correctly, we were really awkward as to how exactly we were going to even start the show. And we didn't know in the beginning how we were going to do it. Like, we were going to alternate hosts. So James was going to host one, I'd host one.
Yeah, we did do that for a little bit.
And yeah, it was different, and we were learning as we went, just like we said. And we've got a format now that works. We kind of stick to about an hour. We talk about the same, similar topics every week, and I think we got a good flow now, James.
Yeah, well, we just talk about what's interesting to us, and hopefully what people are listening to is interesting to them. Like, hopefully that's the translation. Like, we want to talk about the race. We don't get too in depth, but we recap it, and if there was anything interesting, and then, we like to hit the news items a little bit. But really, we're just talking about. We're just two dudes talking about racing. That's really all it is.
Yeah, just this is the same stuff that we'd talk about if we didn't have the podcast. And that's how the podcast came about, is we sat in a car and talked about racing all the way to Eldora and back, and realized that, a couple years later, realized that we could just record it and let everybody else listen. So
here we are, 100 episodes in, and Kyle Busch got his 200th win. It's nice signature,
Yes.
I feel like it's good. Everything's good.
And that's one of the things we've learned in 100 episodes, is how to do a brilliant transition like that. So
heck yeah, we did.
Good work, James. We'll talk about the Auto Club 400, Auto Club Speedway this past week. Kyle Busch, as James alluded to, gets his 200th win. Didn't come on Saturday as expected, but he pulls it off on Sunday, wins the Cup race, pretty much dominated the Cup race, then sped on pit road, and then came back through the field and dominated the Cup race. And there you go. KB,
and that's
200 wins.
The KB show, got his 200th NASCAR win that he has been. It's obvious how hungry he's been to make it happen. He's wanted this for a while.
So here's the deal, James, and you have this in the notes, and we've talked a lot about this accomplishment over the past, couple seasons, to be honest. I mean, we've compared Kyle to the greats. We've joked about 200 back when he was, a few races away. And, last week we had a pretty long discussion about it. I think maybe we didn't dip into it real heavy last week, but we figured we'd be talking about it again soon. So, I think we both came to the conclusion last week, this is a big deal. It's not a big deal in relation to Richard Petty. I don't think they can be compared.
Well, right.
But it is a huge milestone that we need to pay attention to.
Yeah, and I did a lot of thinking about it. So after we recorded last week, I was trying to figure out how I can talk about this, about the way I feel about Kyle getting this number, and how I can make that translate. So I thought to myself, if I was writing the history book of Kyle Busch, you would start at Kyle Busch is born, right?
Right.
And you're on your way. Right now we're probably midway through his journey.
Yeah.
These Xfinity and truck wins to me feel like footnotes in the history of his book. Like, if I'm writing Kyle Busch's biggest accomplishments, all of these Xfinity and truck wins for the most part are like in the footnotes. They are not a big part of the history just yet. Even though he's got the 200, I feel like it's just supplemental content at that.
Well, he's the winningest driver in 2 of the 3 series.
And that's part of it. Yep.
So, that's huge. And, you really have to think about it. Like, okay, I know I said we shouldn't compare it to Richard, but I'm going to compare it to Richard here in this aspect that, there's a lot of talk about Richard did it all in Cup. Okay, Richard did it all in Cup. He did a lot of it in a time when we ran way more Cup races, and we didn't have all the stars in every Cup race. There were different races, different tracks, and, they showed up to the big races and they didn't show up to the small ones, and Richard showed up to everything, and so he won everything. And, it's really easy to say, yeah, Kyle hasn't done it in Cup. He's done it in Xfinity and truck. But, I think it goes to show you, those series are more competitive now than the Cup Series was back then. Way more competitive.
True,
it's still a huge feat. And if you look at other Cup drivers that have gone, nobody's run the number of races that Kyle's run. But if you look at the other drivers who's competed in the lower series, nobody else is putting up numbers like that.
Right.
Kevin Harvick wins quite a bit. Brad Keselowski couldn't win in the Truck Series.
To be fair too, just to play devil's advocate with you, nobody has attacked it like Kyle Busch has.
Right.
Nobody's made it their mission to go out there and try to dominate these other series. Kyle Busch has invested in it personally with his own teams.
But I don't
make
think
it happen.
the whole. I mean, all. Well, he's got what, 55 wins in the Cup Series, 53 wins in the Cup Series,
53 in the Cup. Yeah.
So the rest of the wins that he has, those weren't all done in trying to hit this number. That's been a more recent thing. That's been, the second 100 has been trying to hit those goals. Before it was just
I think when he got
win.
exactly. I think when he got to number 100,
Yeah,
it changed. His goals have changed, and now, honestly, Eric, I think if we didn't have a couple of these rules in place for how many races this drivers could, I think he would go for 300.
I think so too.
And I think he'd get it.
Well, he has said that once he gets to 100 in Xfinity, he's going to back off.
Yeah.
But we'll see if that happens.
And I think that's part of and I think that's part of the rule changes too. I think he's just not going to fight the system anymore. Right. Probably tired of hearing all the crap that people give him all the time.
Right. So okay, let's look at this. Kyle has said now that his next goal is to get 100 wins in Cup. So what does he have to do to get 100 wins in Cup? So he needs 47 more wins to get those. He's 34 years old right now. What do we think? 40? Is 40 a safe number? Kyle will drive till he's 40, right?
I think he'll drive till let's say he'll drive till he's 45.
45?
Safely, I think he'll drive till he's 45.
Really?
Look how much he drives now. You think he's going to want to quit early? I don't think he's going to want to quit early.
So all he's got to do is average 4.3 wins a season.
Till 45?
Till 45. And let's say, okay, so he's probably not going to win that many in, the later years. He's probably going to, but what did he win last year? He won 8 races last year. He won 5 the year before. Honestly, Kyle hasn't had a year since 2016 where he's won less than 4 or less than 5. He won, well, other than this year, but this year we're only, a couple races in. But in 2015, he won 5. 2014, he won 1. He won 4 in 13 and 11. I mean, this should be a cakewalk.
Here's the scary part, too. Yeah, no, I think he's getting 100, and I think it will be easier than people think.
Yeah, I think so, too.
I think he's going to get 100. And here's the thing. He's not even 34.
Yep.
He's in his age 34 season, and a driver doesn't statistically peak as a driver until age 39.
Right.
He's not even at the apex quite yet. And he's the best driver right now in the best equipment.
Well, and here's the thing. Here's a prediction, and I should have thrown this out of the prediction episode at the very beginning. But I don't think this is going real far out. This will be Kyle Busch's winningest season in the Cup Series.
I think you're probably that's a possibility.
He's done 8 twice. He did 8 in 2018. He did 8 in 2008.
Yeah.
I think he gets more than 8, and I think part of it is because this package is going to suit him, and I think we're already seeing it.
Yeah, it's already suited him pretty well.
Yep. As much as he complained about this package and still has complained about this package.
You and I talked about that at the beginning of the season. Kyle's is going to be really good with this rules package.
It's all about momentum, and Kyle can handle that momentum. He knows how to work that. Yep. That's why he's so successful.
Driving in the truck series for so dang long.
Yep.
That's going to translate at some point.
Yep. So I think it's going to be a big year for Kyle. I think it's going to be hard to beat Kyle for the championship.
He'll end his career in the Cup Series, barring any issues. Let's just say he runs the rest of his career perfectly. He's already had one major freak injury. So let's say he stays healthy. He will pass David Pearson.
Yeah.
I think. And then that'll be it.
See, I don't know that I buy that he'll – it's hard to say because Kyle's such a competitor. I don't know that I buy he'll race till 45.
I think he will.
I think I see him ducking out earlier because I think he's got this. Well, I joked. We talked last year about, or in the off season, about bringing KBM up.
Yeah.
But KBM will eventually be in the Cup Series. It's going to happen.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he'll get there.
It's probably.
And at what point does he pull the Tony? Exactly. At what point does he pull the Tony Stewart? Age 40. Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. 40, you start to think about it.
Yep.
So, and I guess it depends on how things are going then. I mean, obviously.
Drivers
go in cycles. I don't expect Kyle to be, an 8-race winner every season up until then. But I mean, shoot, we didn't expect Jimmy Johnson to get 7 championships. We didn't expect him to do as many as he did in the short time that he did. So,
yeah,
I don't know. I think 10 years from now we're going to be having a discussion. We've named Jimmy Johnson the greatest driver ever in NASCAR, and I think we're going to be considering Kyle Busch in that argument.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Too early right now.
Yeah.
Can't do it yet.
Well, just to show you how far, like, I got to give Reddit a shout out on this one. They had a really good stat that they shared. So Kyle Busch, in his 16 Cup Series seasons, he has 51 wins, 183 top fives, and 1 championship. Jimmy Johnson, at the completion of his 16th season, had 80 wins, 218 top fives, and 7 championships. So yes, Kyle's got these 200, but let's make sure that we acknowledge how great Jimmy Johnson
Right.
really was at one point. But that's another thing that we've already said is how young Kyle Busch is.
Right.
He's got another 15 seasons he could go. I mean, he's, you know.
Yeah, and the other thing is too is we also again
If you wanted to.
We're talking about how good Jimmy Johnson was. Jimmy Johnson's still Jimmy Johnson.
Oh yeah, it's in.
I don't buy that Jimmy Johnson is that much worse than he was 3 years ago. It's the equipment he's in. And
That's part of it.
Once that stuff clicks, Jimmy's going to be back in victory lane.
But he's also in his 40s, and
Yeah.
drivers do show slippage.
Yep.
At a certain point. You know, Tony Stewart is a great example.
Mhm.
1 year, he won his championship in 2011. He won a bunch of races in 2012. And then 2013 came, and he stopped being able to make passes on mile-and-a-half tracks. It just like that skill was diminished, and then he had other issues, and that was it. It was over like that.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
You don't think that's the thing with any dynasty, any sport. Sometimes you don't see the end coming, and
Right.
all of a sudden it's there and it's over.
Yeah. Well, the thing is too is with all the competition that we have, you may only slip a little bit, but there's so many good competitors coming in underneath you that that little bit is a lot.
Yeah, and the sport's going to change a ton in the next 5 to 10 years. We're going to have new manufacturers, new racetracks, so there's going to be some major swings coming through.
Definitely agree. What else we got to talk about with Fontana?
There was one wreck. That's something that we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah. Okay.
But nobody crashed out, so that really wasn't much to talk about.
I mean, the restarts were insane, which is what we've seen. We already used to see that at Fontana, but I think it was maybe instead of it being, 4 laps, it was 5 laps because of the new package. But aside from that, I don't feel like the new package did anything to better the racing at Fontana. Did you?
No.
And I think that's kind of been the trend so far.
I'm officially worried. You know what's funny is there's a small part of me that's a little bit happy. And here's why. I don't want NASCAR to fail by any means.
Right.
But part of me, remember when we went to the All-Star package and I was like, this isn't right. I was screaming on the podcast. And then NASCAR beat it in me that this is going to work. And we all got excited, and Jeff Gluck was excited. And everybody's freaking out, and I'm like, yeah. And then we had the Las Vegas test, and I was in.
Mm-hmm.
And now a little part of me is like, you should have stuck to your guns, James.
Yeah.
Because it is what you thought it was, but I don't know. I mean, we got a long way to go.
We've still only
feel like it's
seen
early.
2 races with this actual
Exactly.
package.
I still feel like it's early, but man, it's not looking good.
No, it's not.
How are you feeling about it right now?
Pretty unhappy so far.
Yeah,
I was really excited about California. I rushed home to watch it, and was extremely disappointed. I mean, it was not great, And again, it's back to that thing that, okay, if we get some late race cautions, it's going to be exciting, but we're not getting them because these cars don't spin out.
They're too stuck to the track. There's too much downforce.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
remember, what year was it? 2015, Eric, or 2014? I can't remember. Remember when NASCAR brought a high downforce package to Michigan?
Yeah, it was awful.
It was the worst race ever.
Yeah.
I'm seriously wondering why that they thought this was a good idea to put so much downforce back in these cars. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm at a loss. I still would really like. We've seen the tapered spacer package without the aeroducts. I kind of would like to see the aeroducts without the tapered spacer package.
Yeah.
Just to see what that does.
Yeah.
Because
you got a long season ahead. You could mess with it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You
got 2 Michigan races. You could run 1 Michigan race that way.
Right.
I don't know.
I'm losing the optimism really quick on it.
Yeah, the drivers just don't I mean, they can't crash. These drivers are too good.
Yeah.
You're giving the best drivers in the world cars that are
unless you're
so.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Well, I love that. I love that dude right now, but yeah, he's got issues.
So okay, let's talk about Ricky Stenhouse. This is a good point to talk about it. So we've talked him up and then we've talked him down. And
Always.
So here's my feeling. I kind of had a change of heart on Ricky Stenhouse again this week. And I really feel like Stenhouse is a really good driver. And the reason he's doing stupid stuff is because he is pushing that equipment that he has too far. That he has more skill and ability than what the equipment will allow.
You know who else was doing that for a little bit and still does it from time to time?
Who's that?
Kyle Larson.
Yeah, that's true.
How many times has Kyle Larson stuck it up in the fence?
Yep.
On the high side of the track. You know?
Yeah, you're right.
He's in lesser equipment,
Yep.
and eventually he got it figured out to a certain extent. But Ricky's still running pretty bad stuff.
Well, everybody hates him. Everybody hates him on the track.
Everybody hates him. Yeah.
I mean, he's worse than Newman right now. Everybody hates him. They
Yeah,
don't want to race
they're not-
around him because he runs into them. But I'll tell you what, Stenhouse don't care. He doesn't care,
No,
and
he
I
doesn't
like
care.
that.
No. He's 11th in points right now, by the way.
Yeah,
He's running really well.
yeah, he's doing good in equipment that shouldn't be doing it.
Listen, he is Ricky Spinhouse.
Yeah.
Like that is his, you know, forever known as Ricky Spinhouse. However, or Ricky Spinhouse, I can't get my nicknames right. But anyway, yeah, I mean, he's a talented driver but yeah, I think he reeks of desperation sometimes.
Yeah, definitely.
But he's making it work right now. You know, he's 11th in points, and so what? You know, if other people don't like you, who cares right now? If you're him, what does it matter?
Yeah.
It's not like you're contending for wins right at this point.
No, I mean, Stenhouse has got to get the finishes or he's not going to have a ride. And
he's at that point in his career. He's been in the Cup Series long enough. He's got to start making stuff happen. And I know he's got a couple of wins in the bag, but he knows he's better than what he's shown.
Yeah, and I don't think he's got anywhere else to go.
You can't
I
go
think he's
anywhere else.
stuck at Roush, so he's got to do what he can with that equipment. And I think he knows that, and I think he's pushing it to the limit and beyond. Mm-hmm. And it's sort of working right now, but pissing a bunch of people off. But whatever, who cares?
This aero package has given him a nice opportunity, and he's done very well with it.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, it's brought the middle of the pack. For one thing that this new rules package has done is it's made the middle of the pack a little bit more of a wild card.
Right.
And he has he's like the best of the rest. He's excelled past, you know, drivers in similar equipment. Like if you put him in an RCR car, he's going to outperform any RCR driver.
Right.
He's making it work at this point.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about winners and losers. I don't know. Nobody really super stands out to me. It's
big loss for Clint Boyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big deal. Ryan Preece gets last place.
Everybody kind of filed out where they usually do.
Yeah.
I feel. Yeah.
Yeah. Kyle Larson finished back a ways. Right? Am I in the right spot? No, I'm not.
Yeah, he's in 12th.
I'm not in the right window. So let me get to the. Okay, Clint Boyer was last. Hey, there we go. That makes a lot more sense.
Clint Boyer was last, and then Kyle Larson was 12th.
Yeah. So disregard everything I just said because I was completely wrong.
A great run for Austin Dillon, though.
Yeah.
You know,
the
Richard Childress cars are bringing pretty good pieces to the track.
Yeah, it's a package that's suiting them as well.
They have got good qualifying speed.
Yep. Let's see who just jumped out at me. Matt DiBenedetto finishes 18th. I think he's outperforming in that car from what.
Yeah, he's making gains.
Yeah, you know what Casey Kane did last year for sure. So Ryan Preece finished 23rd. So disregard what I said about him. Somebody just jumped out at me and I don't remember. Oh, Stenhouse still finished 14th.
Yeah,
despite his
he
spin,
rallied.
So,
gosh, I'm trying to think of anybody else, but no, yeah, I mean Kurt Busch. Shout out to that dude.
Yeah,
he keeps cranking up top 10s, and you think about what McMurray was doing in that equipment last year.
Yeah, he's making McMurray look really bad.
Yeah, he's outperforming Larson to a certain extent.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, he's up there.
Yeah, he's not the top Ganassi car because Larson does lead him in points
by 3.
It does feel like he's the top Ganassi car right now.
Yeah, he's been running really well, man.
Yep.
Doing really good.
Yep. All right. One other loser on the weekend, I would say, and that would be NASCAR, and that was Friday.
They had a rough weekend. The whole sport had a rough weekend.
So I apologize because I try to keep things pretty positive on the podcast. I'm pretty positive about NASCAR. I'm already down on the aero package. This qualifying thing, come on.
Oh, it's a mess, dude.
We
talked about it last week.
So stupid. Okay,
we saw this coming, right?
If you
we
missed
all
it,
saw this coming.
If you missed it, final 12 cars, nobody made it back to the start-finish line to start a timed lap in the final session.
Did you see the tweet that I retweeted? Oh my God, I got to give the guy credit who tweeted it out.
I don't think I saw it.
So here's Gil. It was Gil DeFerrin. Is that how you say it?
Jill DeFerrin.
Jill DeFerrin. Thank you. Jill DeFerrin's record qualifying lap at Fontana side by side with Austin Dillon's qualifying for the pole for comparison, and it's DeFerrin running laps around the track while Austin Dillon sits on pit road. Really funny. Go to my Twitter.
That's the thing. Austin Dillon's pole winning speed was 0.
Incredible.
He did not get a time. They do not. Okay, so how do we fix it, James? I give you the first shot. How do we fix this qualifying thing? What do we do?
I say you have to take the flag. I think it's as simple as you have to take the flag within a minute.
Okay.
You can any racetrack we go to, you can get to the flag in a minute. Maybe a road course, you have to extend that a little bit, but you can get to the flag. So you have 1 minute to take the green flag. If you don't get your lap.
Okay.
Done. Enough.
Are you're not of the mindset, let's just screw this and go back to single car?
I mean, I don't really care what we do for qualifying, to be honest with you, at the end of the day, but you can't have a S show. I'll censor myself.
Yeah. That is a word I probably would censor on the podcast.
Yeah, we would have to censor that one. But you can't. Seriously, that's what it was, though, wasn't it? I mean, that's you can't have it. See, either single car you keep the group qualifying, but make these guys take the flag.
Yeah.
You have to take the flag.
Dave Moody had the best quote of the week, and I told you what it was. I don't think I can repeat it on the podcast. Can I? I guess he did it on satellite radio.
Hey, man, we made it 100 episodes.
So I'm not repeating it.
If we don't make it, listen, we've already had the icing on the cake. So if we don't make it any farther than this, and if we get cut by
Hold on. I gave you the exact quote. Let me find it here so I make sure I get it correct.
If you want to censor it, it was a measuring contest.
Yes, Dave Moody said it was a blank measuring contest gone wrong, and he's right. That's what it was.
It's so true.
So okay, here's my solution to fix it. I have 2 solutions. Well, I have a couple solutions. So okay, here's the main. This is the solution. This is the realistic solution. Okay, realistic solution is you don't get to roll on pit road. You got to go when it's time to go. You go. Period. Done.
You have to go. You have to get up to pit road speed.
You can't stop. I say minimum speed on the racetrack, so they can't putt around either. We should be able to set a minimum speed for these guys and make it realistic and know that they can get around here and run it.
Yeah.
But once you're rolling, you roll, and you don't get to stop on pit road. You don't get to. If you stop your car, that's it. You're done. And I believe that if you don't turn a time in the last qualifying session, you go to the back.
Yes.
I think then you move up the rest of the field. Sure, maybe you get. Okay, let's say this weekend Austin Dillon gets the pole. He's on the pole position, but when they take the one to go, you go to the back, just like any other penalty. So that's my realistic fix. My unrealistic fix is you run round 1, you run round 2, you take your top 12 cars, you run a 15-lap race. That's a heat race, and you're done. Make them freaking race for it. Make them all run the same number of laps. Give them a reason to race for it.
I love that idea, but they'll never do it.
No, they'll never do it because NASCAR didn't want to do the heat races before. They changed up the group qualifying on the super speedways because they don't want to wreck cars on Friday.
Right.
But we want to see some heat races. Give us a heat race. There you go. Give us a Gatorade duel every week or whatever the heck the duels are called now.
Yeah, I like the idea of don't let these guys sit on pit road and then
I can't believe it. And okay, here's the deal. NASCAR wants to let them police themselves. Guess what? It doesn't work.
They can't. They have never been able to police themselves.
They aren't going to do it.
No, they are never going to police themselves.
Yeah.
I seriously just think you have a certain amount of time to start, and if you don't, you go to the back.
Yeah.
Just be done with it.
I don't want to see us go back to single car. Single car sucks.
Round 3 qualifying starts. You have 1 minute to take the flag.
Yeah.
If you do not take the flag in 1 minute, go to the back.
I just want a thing where we have all the cars on the track. Just get all the cars out there. That's what we were supposed to do. This was taken from Formula One, and it's great in Formula One. It works, and they run multiple laps and all this, and they just, I don't know.
Here's
These
the
guys
difference between
these guys just
NASCAR.
overthink themselves. Period.
Here's the thing with Formula One and NASCAR at this point. Formula One still considers themselves a world-class sport.
Reputable racing organization.
Yes, and NASCAR ducks itself as the WWE.
Yeah, sports entertainment.
Yes, and it drives me insane sometimes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm with
There
you.
you go.
But you know what? Formula One racing sucks half the time too. So
That's true. That's true. Yep.
So there we go. All right. Anything else to talk about there, James? Or can we put
No, I think-
Fontana behind us?
Let's put Fontana behind us. I thought we would dive deeper into the madness of aero packages and qualifying, and I'm glad we're past it.
I don't think there's anything else to say. It's not working.
Because we got a short track coming up, and we're gonna have fun this week.
I hope so. I don't think it's supposed to snow in Martinsville this weekend, so that's good.
Yeah, please, God, no.
All right, James, you get the Do We Care. You put this one on here. Throw it out there for us.
Yeah, Fox Sports touting their ratings for the last couple Cup races are up.
Nice.
And they're up. Fontana was up 4%. I don't know if this is people interested in the aero package or what. But for the season so far, up 3%. So my question on the do we care about this? But has NASCAR finally, have we reached the bottom and are we going to start creeping back? Have we just stabilized? Do we care about the TV ratings right now at this point?
No.
Okay.
I don't care about the TV ratings. I don't care how many people are. I don't care how many people are in the stands. I don't care. I just want to watch my race.
Yeah. I just find it interesting that here's why I care. It's been a consistent drop, especially, and then NASCAR left ESPN,
right,
and it gashed the TV ratings, and now the ratings are starting to creep back positive, and that does interest me.
Yeah, I'm happy that ratings are going.
I feel like we've hit. Well, yeah, I feel like we had hit rock bottom, and hopefully we are at a stable point.
Yeah, I want to see things get better and all that. I will say that I am not. Every time I leave a racetrack, I am not disappointed by the fact that there's half the people going to the races that used to go to the races.
Yeah. Yep.
It's nice to not have because I'm sorry that we were past capacity. We were
way past.
NASCAR was too big for the roads that support these tracks, and the fact that reasonably I can get out of a track in an hour is nice. Because I remember Michigan leaving the campsite 3-4 hours after the race, and it's still taking 2 to 3 hours to get just like 10 miles.
Mm-hmm.
And that just is ridiculous. And yes, Michigan's improved traffic patterns and stuff since then too. So even if there was more capacity or more people there, they'd be able to handle it better now than they did back then. But still, it's much better this way. But yes, I'm happy that things are improving. I just don't care to look at it. Leave that to other people. I don't pay attention to it.
And and TV ratings, they are what they are. People like you, Eric, they don't care, and that's fine. It does. At the end of the day, it does add up to advertising dollars in the future.
Well, first of all, right now, TV ratings are stupid.
They are stupid because you don't know what people are watching on half the time anymore.
And you know how they do TV ratings, right? I was a member of the Nielsen.
Yeah, I've done
once.
Nielsen as well.
Yeah. And they send you a pamphlet and you fill it out. And this is why, and this is a different aspect, but this is why. So I used to do radio back in the day. And this is why radio stations gave out magnets, because radio stations knew that generally when people filled out their little rating books, instead of filling it out all week like they're supposed to, they would fill it at the last minute, and they'd do it in their kitchen standing next to their fridge. And when they looked at the fridge and saw the magnet for their station, they'd be like, oh yeah, I listen to that station. It's crap.
Yeah.
Especially with the technology we have now that you really literally could track what people are watching.
Yeah. And you know what, some of the TV ratings don't track is people like you, Eric, who record every race because you're super busy.
Yep.
And people like me who sometimes I record the race, and I'll be honest with you, sometimes I am checking in live on Twitter
Yep.
from time to time, and then I'll go back and watch some of the big parts. I won't even watch the whole race from time to time,
Yep.
depending.
I mean, I can't tell you when the last time was that I watched a race on TV all the way through. Yes, sometimes I'm watching it live and it plays all the way through, but I'm doing other stuff during the race. Yeah.
I mean, you were busy with your kids during the Daytona 500. I mean, that happens.
Yep.
That's the way life is. I mean, if this was our full-time job, that would be one thing.
Right.
But we are working men who have families, and I mean, it's just a different era.
Yeah.
You don't have Sundays to yourself anymore. Not everything is closed. Every restaurant is open on Sundays now. It's not like it was 20 years ago.
Right.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, I do care. It's something I like to monitor. It's something that interests me. But yeah. I'm just glad. I'm glad to see a little bit of rebound.
I'm not one of those people that's all bent out of shape because NASCAR doesn't really release attendance and numbers anymore. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care about that track attendance as much. Now,
I
Bristol,
do wish they still released the purse. I did enjoy seeing that.
Yeah, I would too. But wait till people see what Bristol's doing for the spring race this year for attendance. I'm going to be curious to see what people say because
people are already outraged about it.
Yep, they are taking out the turn seats. It's going to be like a football stadium style where they're just fans on each. It's going to be interesting.
Well, they're not taking the seats out. They're just not seating.
No.
There.
They're not seating there. Right. Exactly.
They'll probably put banners up or something.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see what they do.
It is.
All right.
It is.
Anyway, there you go.
All right.
Do we care this week?
There we go. News items. Let's talk about some news. We got a couple things.
This is my favorite one.
Yeah, the first one. Well, heck, James, take it. It's all you.
We have our 20 nominees for 2020, Eric.
There you go.
Guess it's on the list.
I mean, there was nobody. I didn't see anybody of real importance on there. Did you?
Who made the list, Eric?
I don't. There was a couple guys I've never heard of before.
Only the greatest wheelman of all time.
Tony how do you pronounce his name?
Smoke.
Who's
That's
he?
how you pronounce it.
Tony Stewart's on the list.
Yes. It's finally here.
I mean, he's in, right? First round.
He's a first ballot lock. Yep.
Yeah. Gotta be.
Yeah. So the list. We don't need to read off the whole list, do we?
I don't think so.
Let me just do notable names. I'll just kind of go through. So there's 20 people on the list. Here are just some notable names that made it. Sam Ard, 2-time Xfinity champion. Buddy Baker, I think a lot of people know him. Daytona 500 winner. Red Farmer, I think a lot of people know him. Harry Gant's on the list. Mm-hmm. Joe Gibbs, Harry Hyde, Bobby Labonte, Ricky Rudd, Mike Helton on the list. Thought that was an interesting one. So that's just a few of the names that are on there. Some names.
You think Neil Bonnet gets in?
Not this time. Boy, I don't know. I'm looking at the list of 20. Usually what we do, boy, I don't know. I'd love to see Stewart and Gibbs get in together.
That'd be cool.
Because usually, I like to see like one current driver, like one relevant like new guy. So Tony Stewart's going to be your first ballot guy on this list. I'd love to see him go in with like Bobby Labonte and Joe Gibbs, just because they had such a long history together. But
right. Okay, so here's one for you, and we'll discuss this more in depth. I don't know when do they make their picks?
We have an off week coming up, and I think we usually for the first off week we like to look at the Hall of Fame, and
they don't induct these till the off season, right?
May is the nomination, and then they don't induct them until January.
Right, that's right. Okay, so we'll take Neil Bonnet, Harry Gant, Bobby Labonte, Ricky Rudd. Those 4 drivers. Only one of them can get in. Which one is it?
It's Bobby.
It's got to be Bobby, right? He's got the championship.
He's got the championship.
Who's next?
Gant.
Think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Man, I have a tough time with that because
got 2 Southern 500s. I know Bonnet's got the Coke 600s.
Well, see, the thing that Bonnet has though is he has his on-camera career too.
That's true.
And Bonnet was really good on TV. He was good at explaining things. He was an excellent broadcaster, so that might help him.
I think Gant was more well known at the time.
I feel like I don't know, man.
That's a tough grouping.
I feel like Rudd ranks above Gant for me, but maybe it's just because Rudd was the guy. He was one of the guys when I was growing up. I mean, not that Gant wasn't.
Yeah, I think the Hall's going to make Bobby wait a year though. I don't think any of those guys are getting in this time around.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Well, Bobby was on last year, wasn't he?
He's been on the list a couple of times,
Yeah.
but his resume is good. He's got the championship. That's an automatic lock. So he'll
Yeah.
get in at some point.
I hope so.
But yeah, Bobby's been on a couple of times. Terry's already made it.
Yep.
Terry's in. I'm more interested though in the names who did not make the list this year.
Who's that, James?
I'm gonna get to the big one after. I'm gonna name the big one last.
Okay.
Because I think we're gonna have a good discussion on it.
Okay.
So Kurt Shelmerdine was removed from the list.
Okay.
He is a 4-time crew chief champion with Dale Earnhardt.
Yep.
Right.
I think so.
Janet Guthrie was removed from the list, and she's like the pioneering female driver. I think she should already be in, but that's neither here nor there.
Right.
And then they left off Greg Biffle, and the big name that didn't make the nominations list was Carl Edwards, and people freaked out.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask you, we don't have to go through all the names. What do you think about Carl Edwards not being at least on the ballot?
I think there's just too many names that are on the ballot. I mean, I don't know who you take.
Yeah, who do you take off?
As it is, we took off Janet Guthrie and Kurt Shelmerdine. I mean,
is Carl Edwards a better resume than Ricky Rudd? I know it's tough, right?
Well, see, I'm thinking yes, off the top of my head, yes, but Carl's so recent that might be why.
This is his first year of eligibility. Him and Biffle retired with Tony Stewart.
Well, let me say this. This Greg Biffle being left off this list is bad for Greg Biffle. I think Biffle being left off this list means Biffle does not ever get in the Hall of Fame.
Well, they let so many people in. That's the problem. But yeah, I don't think.
I think that's gonna stop soon. I think these classes are gonna have to get smaller.
Carl's gonna get in.
I think Carl will get in, but I don't think Greg gets in now. I think this was his chance.
But no offense to Carl Edwards. He had a nice run, but he wasn't in the sport very long. But he never climbed the mountain in the Cup Series, and he got pretty darn close.
Yeah, but here's the deal, James. Again, it's not the Hall of Stats. It's the Hall of Fame.
Right. And stats play a big role though.
Carl was pretty popular.
He was pretty popular. I'm okay with him not getting on the ballot.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't think it's a problem that he's not on the ballot.
No, people are freaking out.
I do think he gets in eventually, but I'll tell you what. Of those 4, I would put Janet Guthrie and Kurt Shelmerdine probably on there before Carl Edwards.
Oh, for sure.
So,
yes.
And Janet for sure. I'm
listen. If Carl Edwards had the same exact resume and he beats Tony Stewart in that 2011 championship, then let's get him. Let's get him in. Maybe not first ballot, but second ballot, or he's right there.
Right.
His resume would immediately be better than Bobby Labonte's.
Yeah.
But however, he was 1 point shy of winning a championship.
Yeah.
1 point, 1 track position. He didn't win the championship.
Yeah.
That's the make or break. Like seriously, that's the make or break of a Hall of Fame. How quickly he's going to get in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I don't know.
1 position on the racetrack is. Isn't that crazy though?
That's pretty crazy. It is crazy, but
Carl had a nice run.
That title means a lot.
Yeah, he almost won 5 straight Xfinity championships, and he only ended up with 1.
Yeah,
like he was in the running for 5.
Yep.
I found it. That was the interesting one for me is Carl Edwards. Yeah. I love the Hall of Fame debate. I love that NASCAR has a Hall of Fame that we can do this. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, I like it.
So we'll probably dive in deeper. We'll pick our ballots when we get a little closer. But yeah, Tony Stewart, my man, is gonna get his day. He's the first.
How mad will you be if Tony doesn't get in?
Honest to God, if they don't vote him in first ballot, there's no way. There's no way.
I mean, who's on here? There's nobody on here that is big.
Nobody's on the resume he's got.
He's got 3 championships.
Yeah, nobody on this list has his resume.
If you take everything else away from Tony Stewart, 3 championships gets him in.
Yes.
Alone. And then I think, and again, it's the NASCAR Hall of Fame, so none of this maybe matters.
The IRL championship doesn't count.
But Tony Stewart is AJ Foyt, esque as far as ability in a race car.
Yeah, he's a top 15 driver all time.
Yeah.
in the sport. Maybe top 10. We'd have to really look at it, but
I'd say I think we've had this
he's
debate
there.
before. As a driver, if you're just talking about NASCAR, then yeah, I agree with you. As an overall driver, I think he ranks really, really, really high.
Yeah, with all the things he's got accomplished.
Yeah, I'm talking easy top 10 all time across everything. Just in all around ability, and maybe higher than that. So
yeah, I think he gets in, and Joe Gibbs. I think Joe Gibbs is a lock this year.
I think so too.
Joe Gibbs has 9 championships across Cup and Xfinity, and he's built the powerhouse organization right now.
Right.
He's got to go. I hope they go in together. That would be so sweet.
That'd be pretty cool. It'd be cool to see him, Tony and Bobby all in.
Yeah, and Tony Stewart's resume also includes 2 championships as a car owner. By the way,
that's true.
That's on the resume. Not just a driver, because we include everything as far as NASCAR is concerned in the NASCAR.
I mean, shoot. Okay, three NASCAR championships, that gets him in. Owner-driver championship, that gets him in.
Yeah.
I mean, just the championship alone gets him in.
His resume is missing a couple of things. He doesn't have a lot of the majors.
Right.
He's got 2 Brickyards, and he doesn't have a Southern 500, a Coke 600, or the Daytona 500. But he's got
feel like the Southern 500 or the Coke 600 gets you into the Hall of Fame.
Oh
I'm
no,
sorry, they don't.
No, but those are considered, air quotes. Those are considered majors.
I mean, Daytona doesn't get you in the Hall of Fame. Sterling Marlin's got 2 Daytona 500 wins.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Ernie Irvin's got a Daytona 500.
Yep.
Has not been on the ballot yet.
Yeah, that's interesting. Ernie's a good one to.
Yeah, Ernie should be on the ballot.
I think so.
I think his career is different if he doesn't have his crash, and we have we already have the Davey Allison precedent from this year, so that's another conversation. But
all right.
Anywho, yeah, Hall of Fame talk. I love it. I could do it all day.
A couple other quick news items here. This one I just pulled out was, I think, posted today by Kelly Crandall on racer.com.
Yeah, I saw it.
Jeffrey Merritt. He is a crew member for the AM Racing Truck Series team, number 22 truck. Well, was front-end mechanic. He's been suspended indefinitely from NASCAR. Suspension was announced today. No details as to what specifically he was suspended for, but Section 211A of the rule book outlines any NASCAR member charged with any violation of the law shall notify NASCAR prior to the next scheduled event or within 72 hours of being so charged, whichever is earlier. Apparently, he did not do that, and thus has been suspended.
Was it a felony?
Indefinitely. Misdemeanor and or felony. So.
Oh, okay. So it could have been okay.
Yeah. So, but he was supposed to notify NASCAR. So.
He'll be in the recovery program or something, and he'll find his way back eventually.
Probably. So, it's not huge news. It's a Truck Series team. It's also a Truck Series team we don't hear a whole lot from. But thought it was worth mentioning in the news since the news has been pretty quiet lately.
I like that team also announced Bubba Wallace will drive at Martinsville for them the same day.
That's good.
We'll try to spin some positive PR.
The next story I found really interesting. So there was a bunch of talk last week. There was a big auction, and included in the auction were a couple of famous Dale Earnhardt race cars.
A great story.
Supposedly, some famous Dale Earnhardt race cars. So I'll read the article. This is on, I'll read some of the article. It's on autoweek.com. And the link is in the show notes if you want to check it out. Superspeedway or thesuperspeedway.com. You can see the show notes and the link to the article. So the most notable car was billed as RCR chassis number 9309, said to be the 1994 entry that Earnhardt drove to the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship at Rockingham Speedway in North Carolina. That was the second to last race of the season. But there was skepticism as soon as the auction was announced. Kelly Earnhardt Miller commenting she wanted to know where the cars were, where they got the cars, and if they're real. And Richard Childress says he didn't know they were selling them. He wants to know where they got them. Blah blah blah. I didn't know they were up for auction. And then he says he has 42 or 44 of the original cars that Dale Earnhardt drove back to the 86-87 championship car. The car that he won the championship with at Atlanta in 94, he has sitting in the showroom at the museum. And then the Rockingham car apparently is at the at Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, right? Was it? I'm trying to find it here.
Yeah.
Dale Earnhardt Incorporated in the shop and museum. Apparently also the Richard Childress uses numbers of chassis, and they're currently up to number 650. So there's no possible way there could be a 9309. So it sounds like apparently some of these are show cars is what they determined. And the auction did not go for as much as expected on some of these. 2 of the 3 Earnhardt Senior cars sold. A 1993 Wheaties sponsored car sold for $40,700. A 1989 Lumina went for $44,000. The championship clinching 1994 car supposedly was supposed to bring between $200,000 and $300,000. Did not sell at all. The high bid was $190,000, and obviously did not meet the reserve. So. Just a really interesting, weird story. And sometimes you wonder about these cars, like some of these teams, do they hold on to these things? And it looks like Childress has done a pretty good job of holding on to them.
Yeah, Childress has the museum that I think they track their cars pretty well.
Right.
And they've got a pretty storied history. Man, $44,000 for some cars, that's less than a new pickup.
Yeah.
Yeah, get you a Dale Earnhardt themed car and go to work.
One thing I want to point out as I'm looking at this article that has nothing to do with this article, but I want to throw back to the Auto Club Speedway discussion. Awesome thing NASCAR did this weekend. Great photo op. 5 wide salute before the start of the race. I thought that was excellent.
And that was we probably should have mentioned that was a good thing.
Some of the photos were just spectacular. I think the only thing that would have made it better is if they did just wave the green flag.
Yeah, there you go. Wave it. Yeah, 5 wide.
We start 3 wide in the Indy 500. Why can't we start 5 wide at Fontana? Come on.
Well, they get 5 wide anyway.
Right, exactly.
So.
I think they were definitely 5 wide a couple times during the race.
Oh yeah.
So, anyway, I just wanted to hit on that story. Matt Weaver wrote that story. Good. So.
Well, the Twitter memes that came from it really were fantastic. I mean, they were fantastic.
I didn't see any of those.
Oh my God, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was retweeting a couple. I'm like, is this? Oh God. It was like a little Kia that was painted black with a 3 on it, and they were like, "Is this a Dale Earnhardt official Dale Earnhardt car?" And it was just pretty funny. You can find him out there.
Oh, I'm gonna be checking out Junior's Twitter.
Yeah, that's
right
good.
Now.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, so this weekend we go short track racing. We junk the aero pack. Well, we junk the tapered spacer. We keep the aero package, and we go to Martinsville Speedway. The STP 500. Thanks for putting the race name in there, James, because I didn't pay attention to whether you did. So good job.
I sneaked it. Yeah, there you go.
So we go to Martinsville. What do we think? Are we excited for this? Glad to get back to a short track, or do you think Martinsville is going to disappoint?
No, I think it'll be good. It'll be good to get back to the short tracks.
I really hope so.
Yeah, I think Busch is probably going to be really good though. Again, I don't know. I feel like he's on a roll.
Well, here's the thing with Kyle. There's no track he's bad at. Michigan. Okay, so Michigan, you don't pick him to win.
Yeah. But he's already won there in the past, so
yeah, he's got that one locked down. He's got to win everywhere but the Roval, and they've only run the Roval once. So
yeah, he'll get that soon enough.
Yeah. So James, you get the first pick, right?
Yeah, I do.
It's all you, man. Who's your pick for Martinsville?
I'm gonna kind of go out on a limb because he hasn't won there in a while, but I really like what the Gibbs camp is doing. And he's really good here in the past. Denny Hamlin. I
was already typing it before you said it.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a reach, though, because he hasn't been great lately. He used to dominate. He had a nice little stretch there. But he's got the second best average finish among active drivers. And he's got the best rating according to Racing Reference of active drivers. So... 5 career wins, 19 top 10s. So I'll take Denny Hamlin.
It's a good pick.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm not going to go the easy way and go Kyle. That's too easy. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that thing we do every year and start outlawing people, and he's gonna be the first one.
Yeah, he will be. I'm dancing between 2 and their teammates. And I think I'm going to go with the one that's ranked higher. And I'm going to go Brad Keselowski for the win at Martinsville. No real particular reason. He's got a win there. And
yeah, I was eyeballing him too.
Yeah.
And Penske's stuff is pretty stout.
That's the thing. Like Penske and Joe Gibbs right now are the teams. So
it's a 2-team race. Stuart Haas has got a little bit of work to do, but yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to be good.
All right, let's see. Dark Horse. I'm not going to pick Ricky Stenhouse Jr., although it's really tempting. I'm going to go.
You could save that one for Bristol.
Yeah, I'm going to go less of a chance of winning and more of a chance to see somebody get a good performance. And I'm going to have a hard time writing it on the show notes because it's hard to spell his name. But I'm going to go Matt DiBenedetto as my dark horse pick. I just like what he's doing lately. He's running well, and a track that can maybe. See, I certainly can't type and talk at the same time.
Historically, he has not been good there, but he's also not driven. This is the best car he's ever had.
He's in a good car.
Kind of got a little Eric Almirola thing going on where he's in the best stuff he's ever had. So now we're going to see a jump from him.
Yep.
So hopefully he improves on his 33rd place average finish and can make a jump.
There you go. I'm going to make a prediction for your dark horse. I'm putting it down right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Do you see it on the show notes?
I don't see it on the show notes. Let me see if you're correct. No, God, no. Never.
It's Paul Menard for anybody wondering.
Yeah, never.
All right.
Never.
Who's your dark horse pick, James?
A little bit of a stretch, but not quite. Not as much as you. I'm going to go with Austin Dillon.
Okay.
He's got 2 top 10s. And I don't know. I mean, 18th place average finish, so good, not great, but I feel like RCR is going in the right direction, and I think he could get a win.
I feel like I'd pick him on a 1.5 more than I'd pick him on at Martinsville, but I don't think you can get away with picking him as a dark horse at a 1.5.
No, but yeah, and that's the thing. Like I feel like as at a short track, he might be a dark horse, but he looks like he's run pretty well here. So
yeah, I think he's a safe dark horse.
Yeah,
so, I like that.
Yep.
All right, James, let's talk Fantasy League because I was pretty excited. Oh, I skipped shout-outs. We'll go back to that in a second. I was pretty excited about Fantasy League this week because I knew I picked Kyle Busch, and I'm like, yes, I picked Kyle. I know I did really well. And then I looked at the results and realized I freaking had him on the bench.
Oh, no, you're the only one who didn't have him.
Yeah, I did terribly. I was second to last.
Yeah, I picked him for everything except for Pole Award and Stage 2 winner. So I had him across the board.
See, I did have him picked for everything except I didn't have him on my roster. So yeah, yes. I got 6th of 7. Hurricane Ditka takes the win, 244 points. James, you just finished above me in 5th.
I know. I had a good week, I thought, too. And I'm still at the bottom of the overall standings.
Yeah. Freight Train 295, 241 in 2nd. Scoters in 3rd, 221. Justin 713, 221 as well. They were tied. Ranger Runyon, man. What happened, Ranger? 190. Finished last.
Yeah, his worst week. He was storming up the board.
He was.
Yeah, so everybody is in the 800s for overall season points except for me.
Yeah, I dropped back. I think I dropped a position or two in the points. Justin 713 is our leader, 977. Freight Train 295, 917 in 2nd. Scoters, which is Sean Brown, apparently, according to this.
Yeah, there you go.
857 points. He's in 3rd. Jacob Lyle, which is Hurricane Ditka, in 4th. KB Show, that's me in 5th. Ranger Runyon in 6th. And coming up dead last, Smokey come back. Mr.
I need Smokey to come back. Give me some finishes, man. I need something. Terrible.
Yeah. So if you guys want to join the Fantasy League, hit us up on Facebook. We'll get you signed up. Help you there. There's a post on there. If you can't find it,
you can still catch me within 2 weeks. So
yeah, it wouldn't be difficult to catch James.
No, I'm making it easy for you.
I'm starting to bottom out too. So I had one good week and now it's tanking. So that's usually how it goes.
I'm starting to wonder if our performance in the Fantasy League is going to make people stop listening to the podcast. Like, these guys are so bad at fantasy.
I don't know. See, we should have put a prize up or something, and then they would definitely played because they're gonna kick our butts.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of prize could we give them? Meet the co-hosts.
There you go. Yeah. We'll hook them up. They can. Yeah, sounds good.
You can say hi.
Yeah.
Say hi at the track.
No, we want them to want to win.
Yeah, I know.
So
yeah, have some incentives.
James, who you got for shout outs? Any shout outs this week?
No one in particular. I did just, with this being our 100th episode, I would be remiss if we didn't just say thank you to everybody who's kept listening to us this long. Man, if you've listened to all 100 episodes, more power to you. Thank you.
Definitely. I haven't even listened to all 100 episodes. So yeah, we appreciate it.
Well, technically, though, this is my 98th episode because there were the two with when I was on vacation.
That is true. Did I number them? I can't remember. I think I did.
I don't know if you did or not. Those might be like separate, like spinoffs.
I think I might have numbered them. I can't remember.
We'd have to look back in the archive.
Yeah. And then there was the unofficial Patreon podcast, which was me and the boys. So that one,
Yep,
you
I did listen to that one too.
So, I have a shout out, James, and I'm going to keep in the negative theme tonight with my shout out.
Yeah.
So if you follow me on Twitter, you may have already seen the post. James may have witnessed it before the podcast. Probably not, because I don't think he had time to hit up social media.
I was at church.
So here's the deal. I want to shout out Choice Hotels. We're not sponsored by anybody, and certainly not sponsored by Choice Hotels. But I've been a faithful customer of Choice Hotels for the last 2 years. They've been my travel partner for NASCAR races.
I see what you're doing here.
And I've accumulated a lot of points through Choice Hotels with my stays and all that. And I'm not going to badmouth Choice Hotels or say anything incorrect. But here's what happened. So Bristol Motor Speedway is coming up in April. And I booked a hotel room almost a year in advance for the race weekend. And put my credit card down, whatever. And I wasn't positive for sure that I was going to Bristol. But usually you can cancel up to 24 hours in advance, so I wasn't too worried about it. Well, come to find out, last week I found out that apparently that I had to cancel with a month in advance for this race. So they decided to charge my card because they'd reached the cancellation window. So here's the first question. Like, who charges your card before you stay in the room? Like, I get that I'm locked in. That's great. But don't charge my card until I stay in the room. I never approved them to charge my card. I never even gave them my card. So they charged my card. Well, my credit card company goes, what are they charging your card for a month in advance? So they decline the charge, right? Because it seems fraudulent. Why would they charge it a month in advance? So it gets declined. Today I log on the app to make sure I still have a room. Nope, canceled. My hotel room for Bristol was canceled. So thank you to Choice Hotels for encouraging me to try Jeff Gluck's recommendation of Airbnb. And I have an Airbnb set up for Bristol, and I will not be staying at Choice Hotels for the Bristol race weekend. So there's your shout out. Choice Hotels.
My God. That was so, I did not see that going that direction. That was great.
So, yeah, I was not impressed, and I don't mean to badmouth anybody on the podcast, but I was a little disappointed over that. So,
I mean, listen, we badmouth Paul Menard every week on the podcast.
Right?
It's fine.
Right? So I'm not set in stone on Bristol, but I can cancel this one if I need to, unlike Choice Hotels. So I am all set to.
Listen, I've done the Airbnb experience before. You will not be disappointed.
No, this one's got really good reviews. It's a half hour from the track, and
yep, you'll be okay.
Other people have stayed there and gone to the race, so it seems pretty good. And I've been looking for an excuse to try it, and generally, like, every time I've looked for it was like around Michigan, and there's just not very good options around Michigan Speedway.
Yeah,
and there were some pretty good options, still available, a couple weeks before the race. And
maybe you and Jeff Gluck will be like,
neighbors,
roommates or something. Yeah, neighbors.
Could be. I don't know. So we'll see. If I like it, I might be finding a new alternative to Choice Hotels.
Keep plugging Choice Hotels.
Yep, definitely. Check them out. ChoiceHotels.com.
If you want to get fraudulent appearing charges on your credit card, Choice Hotels.
Well, I will say Marriott did it to me a couple weeks ago too. So it's not just Choice. The hotel companies they're feeling threatened, man, from Airbnb. So they are just charging cards left and right.
If you're in the hotel business and you were thinking of sponsoring, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
And we appreciate that you listen. But however, I know we won't be expecting any sponsorship.
Nope. Yeah. 100 episodes in, we're done now because Choice Hotels is coming after us. Anyway, yep. I didn't say anything incorrect. It's all factual. I have the documents to prove it. All right, so here we go. We are going to Martinsville this weekend. It is the STP 500, Martinsville Speedway, the race at 2 p.m. See, this is a nice thing, James. We're doing this on Wednesday night tonight. So NASCAR sends me this little thing that's the cheat sheet and tells me all the stuff.
Oh, nice.
Just add it at the bottom of the show notes and read this like I know what I'm talking about. So 2 p.m. race time. It goes on TV on Fox Sports 1 at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. MRN, Sirius XM, NASCAR Radio, all that. Clint Boyer was your winner last year in the snow-delayed race. They ran on Monday, and it was a snoozer. So hopefully this year is better.
Yeah, I watched it at work.
Yeah, I did as well. The NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series is also back in action this weekend at Martinsville Speedway. It is the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series 250, Saturday, March 23rd, race time at 2 p.m. They go on the air at 2 p.m. Last year's winner, John Hunter Nemechek. So MRN, Sirius XM, NASCAR Radio will also carry the broadcast. that's what you got this weekend. Xfinity Series is off. They go to Texas Motor Speedway on whatever day it is. March 30th, they'll be back in action at Texas. So, and we'll be back looking at the new aero package one more time, and hopefully a new qualifying procedure that isn't stupid.
Maybe.
There we go. James, where can they find you on social media if they want to chat with you?
At James Cush on Twitter.
You can find me at TSuperspeedway on Twitter. You can find the podcast on Facebook at facebook.com/thesuperspeedway. Our website is www.thesuperspeedway.com. You can find the podcast on there. Old podcast, show notes, all the links to the articles we talked about today. So there's some coverage from last year. There'll be some coverage from this year as well, hopefully in a couple of weeks at Bristol Motor Speedway. You can find the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and SoundCloud. And if you want to become a patron and help us with what we're doing, you can visit patreon.com/thesuperspeedway. Patreon just announced today they're changing up some of their structure, so we'll see if we continue with the whole Patreon thing. Right now, it looks like nothing's changing for us. Our massive 2 patrons shouldn't be affected, but I'll keep you guys informed on that if we have to bail on Patreon. So, again, patreon.com/thesuperspeedway. There's different tiers and stuff that you can join, become a part of the show, get involved, and all that. So we appreciate everybody who signed up with that. We appreciate everybody who is subscribed and listening to us. What the heck was that?
I bumped the mic. I was trying to hit the mute button. Bump the mic.
All right.
Yes.
On that note, I think we're all set for the week. We will go.
This concludes episode 100. Crashing and burning.
There you go.
As we have so many others.
That's how we do it, man. We go big or go home.
We can never get the outro right, and this time it was me. I screwed the whole thing
all
up.
you. I was on a roll. I was clicking.
You were.
Things were going.
Yep.
Things were going.
I know. I blew it.
All right, Martinsville Speedway this weekend. We'll be back next week to discuss the race and preview Texas. I believe is after Martinsville, right? I don't know what the heck's going on.
Yeah, Texas is after Martinsville.
You think I know what I'm doing? I don't. All right. Until then, let's go to Martinsville and let's go racing.